I've got huge altcoin news for you guys. Ripple and Cardano are teaming up. I'll share what Brad Garlinghouse and Charles Hoskinson had to say today as XRP is starting to break out on its chart as liquidity flows through the crypto market. And someone has filed for the first Hbar Spot ETF. This is big, and I'll share some big hearings that took place in DC today around stablecoins. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, let's start with Bitcoin. As I've been telling you guys, we were due for a cool down, a pullback, a healthy one, because we can't go to 100K or 150K without building support levels along the way up. I've been saying this over the past few days, as well as in my newsletter. So this is anticipated. Bitcoin cooling down, currently hanging out over $87,000. Once again, very healthy. It could go lower. It could test 80K, but that would be normal, guys. We've seen this before. You can't have this type of run up without some sort of cooling down and the building of support levels. But what we're starting to see is the liquidity from Bitcoin is cycling through the market. Now, are there outliers that move without Bitcoin's liquidity? Sure, like Solana. Solana has been ripping, right? But for the majority of altcoins, the liquidity flows down from Bitcoin. And guys, on the XRP chart, we're seeing a breakout here. Very good sign. And this is why I've been telling you guys, I even mentioned it in the live stream yesterday, to be patient. The liquidity has to cycle through. The bull market works in phases. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in just 1 week. It happens over months. So you got to give time. You have to be patient and let the liquidity flow through. But good sign for XRP here. It touched over 71 cents today. And it's a very similar breakout that Cardano had recently. You can see here, look at the Cardano chart. Very similar move, right? So these are the blue chip altcoins. And once again, the liquidity has to cycle through. And look, many different big traders and analysts are recognizing that XRP is ready for an explosive move. Here, Chris from Crypto, who I recently had on the podcast, he's not some XRP fan, but he just does chart analysis. He primarily trades Bitcoin and Ethereum. He said XRP is breaking the 4-year triangle. So him and other analysts who are not biased, they're not XRP specific people, they're not big holders of XRP, they're just looking at the charts, and the chart is telling us the story. So altcoins are waking up, and that is a very good sign. And it's what we've seen historically in the bull market. Bitcoin will steal the show, but then altcoins will follow. And many times we see altcoins outperform Bitcoin by the end of the bull market. Now, Bitcoin is the least riskiest asset in the crypto market, right? Dogecoin and meme coins and some altcoins that were just created last week or whatever are very risky. Sure, you can make money on it, but many of these are like walking into the casino and throwing it on black on the roulette table. So you have to understand the dynamic and what's happening here, folks. Now, here's some very big news. Remember, we were talking about Charles Hoskinson in a previous episode where he mentioned he would be working with the Trump campaign to help get crypto policy through, and that he wanted to build a bridge back with the XRP community and possibly have RLUSD, the Ripple stablecoin, be put on Cardano. Well, apparently the talks are in motion. He tweeted out today, I just spoke with Brad Garlinghouse, that's Ripple's CEO. He's a great CEO and extremely collaborative, and I'm excited to see how the future unfolds. Brad then retweeted him saying, thanks for the kind words, Charles. Now is the time for the crypto community to come together, push for a level playing field and clear rules of the road. A rising tide lifts all boats. So guys, I love this. I love this collaboration. I think Ripple will benefit in having its RLUSD stablecoin on the Cardano blockchain, and Cardano will benefit from that with more liquidity, more transaction volume. Metcalfe's law. More participants, more activity, more adoption of the blockchain, more valuable it becomes. And I'm sure they're going to collaborate on crypto policy and working with the Trump administration and so forth. Very good sign, folks. This is what we want to see. And I'm going to try to get Charles on the podcast to ask him about the plans and what else is going on. Now, Canary funds, remember they've been filing for ETFs such as XRP ETFs and so forth. Well, they have filed for an Hbar ETF, a spot ETF. And this is following their launch of the Hbar Trust in October. So we saw this coming, but they have officially filed with the SEC. very bullish. I'm an Hbar token holder, I'm a Cardano token holder, and I'm an XRP token holder. So exciting times ahead. Now, if this was earlier in the year, people would say, we don't know what the chance is here because Gensler's in office. Well, guess what? Gensler's going to be out. We are expecting possibly this week his resignation letter, or maybe next week. We'll see. But we know he's done, and that Donald Trump, who's the president-elect, will be putting in a new SEC chair who will be pro-crypto. He will have a crypto advisor in the government and all that stuff. So things are going to be very bullish as we head into 2025. And I expect these spot ETFs to get approved for XRP, Solana, HBAR, and so forth, and even basket ETFs, right? I just recently had the head of research at Grayscale on the podcast, and he talked about their index ETF, which includes like the top 10. So it has Solana, it has XRP, and so forth. So incredible stuff, guys. I'm so bullish. And a great place where you can buy, sell HBAR, XRP, and Cardano is on Uphold, which is an exchange I've been using for years. In fact, I think I started using them in 2018. They're a great platform. They have Bitcoin and all the top altcoins. They have 300 plus cryptocurrencies. They're available in over 150 countries. They support many fiat currencies. They have a great app. It's easy to use. And folks, they don't commingle or lend out your crypto funds. They are 100% reserved, and you can review their transparency reports. And they have a lot of great features, such as a USD interest account where you can park your crypto profits, or dry powder and earn up to 4.9% APY. So that's really great. And best of all, there's no lockups or terms. So you don't have to lock up your money and you can't access it. You can access it anytime. You can withdraw it and put it in at any time. There are no monthly fees, and it's FDIC insured. So that's a really great service that I'm using. And if you'd like to learn more about Uphold, visit the link in the description. Now, check this out, guys. The Digital Chamber and a bunch of crypto industry folks met with the Federal Reserve Governor Bowman, and to talk about stablecoins. Here's the title of the report: How Stablecoins Are Extending the US Dollar Dominance, a Policymaker's Guide to Action. I believe stablecoin regulations are right around the corner. And Nick Carter was there, who's, of course, part of Castle Island Venture Fund. He has a fund. And Jack McDonald of Ripple is there. We know Ripple is looking to launch their RLUSD stablecoin. So this is very, very good. In order to get a stablecoin through and get regulations through, you need the Treasury and the Federal Reserve to buy in, right? The people who control the currency, essentially. So you got to meet with the head of the snake here. So this is incredible stuff, guys. Things are moving ahead at a very nice pace here. Now, today we had two big CEOs on CNBC. First was Brian Armstrong of Coinbase. Second was Vlad of Robinhood. And I'll play a clip of what Brian Armstrong had to say. And, obviously, Coinbase is the largest exchange in the US. It is a publicly traded company. It is fighting against the SEC, of course, and had donated a lot of money to the crypto PACs, which spent in the election. So let me read a quick quote here. I won't play the entire clip because it's over 4 minutes long. He says, "We need to have a clear path for people to register crypto securities. For the last 4 years, the door has been shut in our face. It's really the dawn of a new crypto era with this election because it's the most pro-crypto Congress ever." Let me play a short clip here for you guys.
There's about 100 things I want to ask you, but let's just start with what's happening in crypto post this election. And maybe it's the same question I asked of Vlad earlier. As you sort of look out on the horizon now, given President-elect Trump and his administration and his ambitions and plans, what is it that you see happening exactly?
Yeah, well, good to see you, Andrew. I mean, one of the most exciting things about this new Congress, which is the most pro-crypto Congress ever, is that I think we finally have a chance to get some regulatory clarity in the U.S. about some of these big open issues that, frankly, under Gary Gensler, we just haven't gotten any clarity for a long time. So which of these assets are commodities, which of them are securities? That requires the SEC and the CFTC to come together and collaborate on rulemaking, or to have Congress really step in and pass new legislation. So there's an opportunity to do that. The FIT 21 bill, which passed with strong bipartisan support in the House earlier this year, it's now making its way through the Senate. And with any luck, we'll get that passed through the Senate and make it to the president's desk here, either in the lame duck or early in the Trump administration.
Brian, we've obviously seen Bitcoin move materially, obviously, in the past week, really. Even more so, even before that, given sort of the run-up and maybe expectation that President Trump was going to win this election. When you think, though, about the other currencies, I mean, they're the ones I would imagine at this point that have the bigger room to move, or no?
Well, I think Bitcoin will be the most important crypto asset for a long time. It's got a lot of runway to move as well. But what's exciting about this Coin 50 index that we launched is that people are increasingly becoming aware that it's not just about Bitcoin. There are dozens, hundreds of different assets in crypto that are now, they've met our listing standards, they've made it onto our exchange. And actually, there's thousands of these being created every day, believe it or not. And so some of these they're coins like Ton and WorldCoin, which are being used in emerging markets. There's things like in the DeFi space, like Uniswap, that people want exposure to, or the things that are layer 2 solutions are being built on top of, like Optimism. And I think we're eventually going to get to a world where there's millions of these tokens. Every project, every individual, every meme on the internet is going to have one of these. And of course, every company, when they want to raise money, as we get regulatory clarity around securities, and have a clear path for that, they should be issuing these coins as well. And so increasingly, people are going to want broad market exposure to crypto. It's going to be the next version of the stock market, but it's also the next version of the internet.
Wow. Really big statements from Brian there. I love what he said. It's the next version of the stock market and, of course, the internet. We're headed in, or we are in Web3, as blockchains are sitting on top of the internet now to move value and how we transact with each other and much more. Now, guys, some very interesting statements from Vlad, Robinhood's CEO. He said, it costs us roughly an order of magnitude less to operate a cryptocurrency business and offer the exchange of assets than it does on the TradFi side. That advantage is undeniable. Wow. Wow. Folks, Robinhood started off with stocks and equities. And the CEO went on TV and said crypto is better for their business. And of course, crypto is a global asset class. It is 24/7. It doesn't sleep. There's no holidays or closing bell and opening bell, no weekends and all that stuff. So what a bullish statement. And I think all of Wall Street is watching. They're recognizing what's going on. That's why BlackRock's ETF has been sucking up Bitcoin. Their Ethereum ETFs have been performing well. And wait till the other altcoins have ETFs, guys. It's incredible. Now, speaking of ETFs, Coinbase launched what's called Coinbase 50 Index, or Coin 50. They said a new way to track the performance of the crypto economy. The benchmark representing the top 50 eligible digital assets all in one easy to follow index. This is such a smart move by Coinbase. And this is the great things that are being put together to have people to get exposure to indexes versus they have to pick individual crypto assets. They can just buy a basket. So Coin 50's index methodology builds on a 3-year track record of Coinbase asset management index experience and has been developed in partnership with Market Vector. Every asset in the index is listed and accessible on Coinbase Exchange, which meets a rigorous vetting process that evaluates assets against strict legal compliance and security standards. Eligible institutional and Coinbase Advanced users will be able to trade the Coinbase 50 index via a Coin 50 perpetual future on the Coinbase International Exchange. Coin 50 perp is available in select jurisdictions outside the US, UK, and Canada. Now, the reason why they haven't launched it in the United States is because of lack of clarity, but we know that's going to be coming around soon, and folks in these jurisdictions will be able to access it. So really smart move here by Coinbase. Final news item here, Eleanor Terry of Fox Business was highlighting the following with regards to Elizabeth Warren. Now, Sherrod Brown, who's a general in her army, has been kicked out, and Mark Warner says he plans to stay in the Senate, and he's also one of the anti-crypto army folks. But she said Senator Elizabeth Warren is now all about guarantee to be the ranking member of the Senate Banking Committee next year, as Senator Sherrod Brown exits and Mark Warner confirms he plans to stay on the Senate Intel Committee. Senator Tim Scott will be the likely choice for chair. So a couple things here. Despite the anti-crypto army being destroyed, right? Sherrod Brown out and all these guys have lost big time in the House and the Senate, Warren will still be around. However, I don't think it matters because guess what? She can't do anything without Gensler. Gensler was her gimp on the leash doing whatever the hell she wanted, right? He was the one sending a lot of the enforcement actions. And without Sherrod Brown and all these other clowns, she doesn't have the same power, and she's lost the narrative big time. And the election, right? A lot of Democrats are not going to align with her at all. And we saw already this year before the election, Roger Marshall and a bunch of other people started backing out of bills. So she's done. I don't think we will hear Senator Elizabeth Warren talk about crypto at all. It's been such a failure on her end. And I think a big part of why the Democrats lost the election was crypto, because crypto was the biggest spender in this election. And look, there was other issues. Obviously, I'm not saying crypto is the only reason, but it's certainly one of the reasons for sure. So I don't think Warren sticking around even matters. And if she does try to do anything, we have the most pro-crypto Congress ever. And both Democrats and Republicans are supporting crypto in the House and the Senate. So good luck, Elizabeth Warren. Go. Why don't you go retire with Gary? You guys go off to some island somewhere and don't come back. Guys, let me know what you think about this news. Leave a comment below. And a great way you can support me and the podcast, guys, is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It's 100% free. Link will be in the description. Also, grab a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto. It's available on Amazon in paperback and digital. If you bought a copy already, please leave a 5-star rating and review. It will really help me out. Thank you guys so much. And I'll talk to you all later.